This is a podcast about both having autism and living with someone who has autism. My mom is Sonya, and I'm Josh, and this is Josh Has Autism.
Hey everybody, welcome to Josh Has Autism.
Hello.
I hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
Yes, so I was just trying to get things going here, and I was being a giant dork, and Josh is like looking at me like, do this? I was trying to get something started, and I was pushing the wrong button because I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm wearing my Dollar Tree glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a stash.
And that you've done it. How many podcasts have we done now?
This is 125.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. 125. So, yes, I've done it numerous times, but I don't know what just happened. Anyway. Today, before we get going, everybody, thank you so much for being tolerant of us being late for things. The website continued to have problems, and it is just really made it impossible, because at times we couldn't even get on the website to even post anything. So even to let anybody know that we couldn't post anything, we couldn't get on to even say that.
Jeez.
So right. So finally, it does look like it's resolved. I hope so, but this is it's just been crazy.
I also have an announcement.
What is your announcement?
I wanted to thank everybody that went to my what I wrote.
Oh yeah.
I have 100 favorites and 150 followers.
Whoa! Give me 5. Oh, that's awesome.
As of 2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
That feels really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Are you going to keep writing then?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it takes a bit in between chapters, but yeah.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully it gets a little bit faster, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're motivated to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like a motivation. That's one of the thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is that, our country's been kind of shut down for a year, and things are starting to open up again.
Yeah.
And something that happened to you whenever that happened is that, because we joke about it, like, well, the country shut down is just your life.
Yeah.
It's not a big...
catching up to my pace.
Right. Yeah. But it did change. It did change how you lived, and it did.
Yeah.
It took an awful lot away that you looked forward to, and that kept your routine intact.
Yeah.
And when venues closed, and when there was no opportunity to go out, that was hard for you.
Yeah. Because
even though you are not so much into the social interaction, you went places, and you would go to D&D in person.
Yeah.
And that really made you happy. And those, when I say you go places, like you what's that store? Excuse me. With the games in it?
Oh, yeah. Just Atomic Comics is the name of the store. It's where I play D&D.
Oh, yeah. No, the place where you buy games.
Oh, GameStop.
Yes. That's a place that you like to go. And,
yeah.
Just for a long time, you couldn't do those kind of things. And, even though you like being inside, you don't really like socialization so much. You do. You're really good at it.
Yeah.
You've really learned how to be very good at that. Yeah. And I think that in a big part you enjoy people. Yeah. Especially when we do speeches, you really enjoy the people in the audience, and you really enjoy the conversations that you have with them after.
Yeah.
And even though when we leave there, you almost instantly pass out.
Yeah.
And you're done for a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is that everything was gone, even when you didn't do a lot outside with interaction.
Yeah.
To begin with, it was a huge change.
It was, yeah.
And lately, like, it's good that things are starting to open because you're getting stir crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday, for example, I called you up. I'm like, hey, I need to do something.
Mm-hmm. And I said, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, so you did that. So that's good. But, I understand. You want more than just going for a walk.
Yeah.
You want some of the old, familiar experiences that you used to have.
Yeah.
And while maybe the rest of us missed those in 1 week or a month, or some of us a few months,
yeah,
you are just now starting to miss those things, which is good timing because things are starting to open up again.
Yeah.
But I just thought that it was, for you, even though you didn't go out and interact as much as other people, it affected you.
Yeah.
And some of the things that we were just starting to work on were affected, and it was kind of down. One thing was college.
Yeah.
So we've been working with Voc Rehab.
Mm-hmm.
And everything went to over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Your appointments with your doctor are through telemed, which is, it's not Zoom, but it's like Zoom. But it's not, it's just telemed means you have the appointment and you see the doctor instead of just talking on the phone. So
well, that's what Zoom does. It's like Skype or Zoom or other things like that, but it came out well before Zoom or even Skype came out.
The telemed?
Yeah.
Right. And what I'm saying is it's not, I'm saying for people that don't know what telemed is, it's like Zoom, where you have your doctor's appointment and you see them and they see you, but it's through a computer.
Yeah.
Just like Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those things that you had worked on just kind of got stopped.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I ever really asked you how you feel about that stuff that you were interested in. That specifically, because I heard from him today.
Heard from who?
The guy from Voc Rehab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, what did you think about everything just stopping?
My thoughts on it were that, well, crap, is this happening? That was kind of my initial thoughts on it.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people's thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember on the news, it was like, it was all in China and we were kind of being isolationist about it.
Yeah.
And then one showed up in New York and one showed up in California.
You mean kind of like, oh, it's happening over there, stay over there? And then when it's...
Well, isolationist or isolationism is whenever usually a country, like even the U.S. back in the teens and 20s of the 20th century, that I have to say that is ridiculous, but was very pro isolationism because they were all for America, by America, the heck with everyone else. And then the Great Depression happened and stuff like that. World War I, Great Depression, World War II. And it really brought us out of the isolationist view because there were a lot of Americans that went overseas and saw different things. So it really brought us out of it. But, oh, sorry. But that's what I mean by isolationism is that it's just on a much smaller scale per se, because we're having to stay in our own little family unit.
Mm-hmm. Instead of your own country, stay in your own house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been, for lack of a better way of saying it, quite the experience.
Yeah, I think that what I have seen with you is that you lost your routine.
Yes.
And because you lost your routine, you kind of lost your way.
Yeah.
And you are a guy that needs routine.
Mm-hmm.
You need those patterns in order to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the less you have on your schedule, the worse you seem to function.
Yeah.
And so that if you have something that you have to do, you will be there. Especially, it's interesting if you have appointments or if you have work.
Yeah.
Those are things that you are very good at remembering. I don't know, do you put those in your phone?
I put alarms in.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, like the night, like for work and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been set an alarm the night before,
Mm-hmm.
or
Right.
now with like doctor's appointments and things like that, I put them in my calendar with an alarm.
It feels like the whole country just kind of stopped living lives.
Yeah.
You know, we've just been staying inside and,
Yeah.
you know, getting fat and, you know, most of us anyway.
Mm.
And, you know, not really going out and living and experiencing the things that we are used to experiencing.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're all nervous, kind of. We're all just kind of not really sure what to do or how to do it. It's kind of like we all kind of lost our way.
Yeah.
Because now that things are opening up again, it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of I'm happy that it is. I'm happy about that. What I'm saying is that people are telling me that they are kind of feeling uncomfortable, maybe a little bit, you know, kind of scared of what's this going to look like? What's it going to be? How is this going to be?
Right.
How do we go back to a packed theater?
Yeah.
You know, like for you and I, how do we go back to a packed show?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with stand up right now, there's this separation. The
Yeah.
venues used to be packed. I mean, it was just electric with this energy, and now
especially if if the crowd was really on point and with you.
Right, exactly. And now they're separated.
Yeah.
So it's sparse. The audience is sparse because they're, you know, having to be separated.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. It's very, very different. So I think people sometimes think that, well, you're autistic. And we've joked about this before, that you're autistic, so welcome to your world. Right? But there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Because being autistic doesn't mean that you don't engage. It doesn't mean that you don't have a life or you don't crave conversations or experiences.
Right.
Not what it is. It is that there are times when you need to isolate so that you can manage your own anxiety, your own sensory overload.
Yeah.
And then you kind of build makes me think of your games, like you build your strength back up, like those players that you do, like you know, they get knocked down and then they just kind of build up. They have, I don't know what they call it, life again or what, I don't know.
HP, hit points. Or levels.
Not levels, but whenever they get knocked down, but then they get to come back out again. Like,
HP, which stands for hit points. Oh. It's their health.
Oh yeah. So that's what it reminded me of. Like for you, it's like we have to go back because that you need to charge back up again. Yeah. Like your video game guys, how they get knocked down and like, come back again. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about everything? Like, are you ready to just go back and interact, and you want that back in your life again? Or
yeah. And one of the things I really miss is I miss doing D&D in person.
Mm-hmm.
Because doing it online does not do it justice whenever you're in an actual group of real life people. I'm not saying that those who play online are not real. I'm saying that
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we've all been missing.
Yeah. And one of the things that makes it so different is that you don't see the other players.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh. I thought when you played that it was like a Zoom kind of thing where you could have different boxes and see the other players.
That's possible,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not how people do it
Okay.
most of the time.
Okay.
Like, unless they're streaming or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
For other people to watch you play.
Hey, that is a thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a thing. Like there's on YouTube, I think it is, where there's a guy that watches food being made. There's somebody else, a lady that eats food, and people watch it. Like, wow. And the guy watching stuff is funny. He is very funny. His comments and stuff, but it's very strange the things that people, and that was before the shutdown.
Yeah.
Like, you could go out and eat, at a restaurant. You don't have to watch somebody else eat.
Right.
But there was something about it that,
Yeah.
This person had, I don't know, 1 million followers. And, yeah, it was crazy. But
That is, wow.
it's weird, right? Weird to you? Like,
Yeah. I mean, good for
Like, you
them.
don't
Good for them, but I mean...
Yeah, you don't... I can be sitting across from the table. You don't watch me eat, and you're right there.
Yeah.
You're not interested in watching somebody eat on
That's because
on
I'm
YouTube.
eating.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, yeah, just missing that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because just hearing a person's voice, you don't get all the nuances of what they're doing and what they're talking about.
And do you realize how amazing that sentence is?
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You worked a lot of years
Yeah.
to understand that there are nuances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let alone what they are, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes those nuances are not. They don't resonate. They don't stick.
Right.
So they still, But the fact that you're recognizing that they happen is huge. And I just want to remind everybody, or maybe people that don't know, is that is something that you did not understand. You learned that through therapies and through the wraparound services and the constant psychiatrist and sociologist, the therapist, the TSS that went
All
through
the
school.
help I've gotten.
Yeah, all of it.
Even you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because you guys help occasionally.
They do. They did what's called transferring of skills. So the therapists would teach us how to do it, and then in your everyday life, we would mimic that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's just natural for me with you is that we've always talked about everything.
Yeah.
Always asked you what you think, how you feel, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Why do you do this? How did you not see that? Just different,
And it was never accusing either.
No, I'm interested in
Yeah.
what's going on, how you feel.
Yeah, and like that last example you gave of that group of them that, how did you not see this?
Yeah.
It was never accusing. It was always just trying to find out how you could make things easier for me.
Well, and also I wanted to understand you.
Yeah.
Because, so, there's the issue still with that is that when you do dishes, if there was a pan left on the stove, you're apt to not see the pan.
Right.
So you will do all the dishes.
Yeah, they're on the counters.
Yes. And you would leave that.
Yeah.
And
it wouldn't be intentional. I just wouldn't see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which I don't understand. So it helps me to ask you the questions too, because I don't understand that.
Yeah.
If and so we came up with something where you scan everything.
Yeah.
You scan it so that you
or I check with someone else to make sure that I've gotten everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, just the fact that you miss the nuances of people, like, make me want to cry with joy. I mean, that's a huge statement.
Yeah.
Just huge. And so it is interesting that, the joke is like, well, everybody shut down, so now it's, we know what you're like. But it's not the case, because you do enjoy going out and the face-to-face interaction with your peeps.
Right.
Yes. So I'm glad that that's going to start up again. What happened when everything went away was not easy for you, though, because it wasn't easy for any of us. I mean, look, there's times Dad went from working at City Hall to working every other day at home.
Yeah.
I mean, we've enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So there are parts of the shutdown, there's parts of the change that we like.
Yeah.
I like having him here working from home those days.
Yeah, because you get to see him and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy now because he's here. So when he goes on lunch, when he takes his lunch break, we take Einstein for a walk.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah.
But for the majority of the issues that came up from it have been really hard for people.
Yeah.
And
not even mentioning the actual getting COVID.
Yeah. Well, there's that. People that have gotten COVID.
Yeah.
I have friends that have had COVID, and their cognitive abilities have changed. Their blood pressure can't be regulated. Another person is a personal trainer, and walking across the room is exhausting.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's just some things that they call them long haulers, where issues are sticking long after they've had the COVID. And so, there's that. And then there's the other side of it, is like people being concerned about getting it.
Yeah.
People dying from it. It's devastated families. And, so compared to that, of course, we think like, well, having to stay inside or away for a year is nothing compared to losing someone.
Yeah.
It's not easy, though. I don't think that we should dismiss it, because this is really what I saw was that the longer that you couldn't get out and do things, the more you basically stopped functioning in your everyday life. And I think that it's because of that lack of routine.
Yeah.
And again, you do better. We talked about this online on the podcast before, that you were going to tell everybody how you're doing with doing something and then reading.
Yeah. I've been.
You do like consistent for a few days and then you
lose it.
Yeah, but when you did, though, what I noticed is that you would just sleep a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be that you would just read.
Right.
And not do the things you were responsible for doing, but you just weren't functioning in general.
I mean...
So when you were up and you were able to function, you would follow this new routine, correct?
For the most part, yeah.
Yes. Right.
And whenever I would sleep, I'd go to bed at maybe 11 or so, and I'd wake up at 4 p.m.
What do you mean? You would?
That was the worst one.
Yes.
That was the worst one.
Right.
And then I took a nap an hour later.
Yes, and that's when we went back to the doctor.
Yeah.
And asked about medication, asked about what needed to be done. And then there was some medication changes that took place. And it seems like that helped. Because you were sleeping a bunch, and then the medication dosage was changed.
Oh,
Not the
yeah.
medication itself, but the dosage. And that seemed to help. Which that might, once you're up and out, again here, that might change again. I don't know. But I think for the most part, people are feeling like you are. Like, sometimes it's kind of nice, like I said, not having to do anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just not... I think we're all at the point of like, we got to get out of here.
Not just that, but I was just reminded of Monty Python's Search of the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
There are times where people will ramble on, and then a person or a group of people would go, "Get on with it."
Yes. Yeah, so we're at that get on with it stage, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So, a lot of things stopped, like we said, is that you were trying to get involved with vocal rehab, and there was that discussion about college or no college, maybe job training or what have you, and then that kind of stopped because of COVID.
Yeah.
And there were other things as well, which is we've tried to find a life skills coach for you.
Yes.
And they're shut down. We're just not getting information back. So at this point right now, I wanted to tell you that I got an email from your person at Voc Rehab, and it says that he has been able to arrange for a community support services counselor to work with you.
Oh, cool.
And he's going to be, and it's a female, he's going to be meeting with her in the next few days to discuss what you need and what he's looking to have her do for you.
Okay.
Because remember, we just talked to him,
Yeah.
and he asked about that. That's been the issue. It's like the daily organization is huge.
Yeah.
Because you want to do these other things. You want to have a full life, but the daily activities of organization or just life skills have just been kind of floundering.
Yeah.
And you really want those things to work.
Yeah.
Because once that happens, you feel like you're going to feel better about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so that's what we talked about with him, and that's exactly what he's following through on.
Nice.
And I think that another thing is that now that things are beginning to open up, he has discussed... So we live in Newport News, Virginia. Williamsburg is maybe
15, 20 minutes?
Maybe a half hour at the most, depending on where you go in Williamsburg. 45 if you're going to the top.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, he is now talking about you having an opportunity a couple days a week to volunteer at Jamestown, where they have...
That's not Williamsburg.
I know. It's James County.
Okay.
It's right by Williamsburg. It's like if you go up to Williamsburg and then like you hang, I think, a left and go right by Williamsburg. It seemed like it was the same thing to me, but you're right. It's not the same, but it's right next to it.
Historical Williamsburg and things like that, yeah.
Yeah. And yes, he's talked about both. So Jamestown and historical Williamsburg, that a couple days a week you can go there and volunteer to help with showing tourists that come in that you could start beginning to give a presentation on artifacts.
Oh, cool.
So that you're so interested in history and so I think you'd be really good at that, and I think it's a positive move. So I'm grateful that things are opening up for so many reasons, but for you, I worry about you all the time.
Yeah.
I worry that you are not functioning, that you're not up, you're not getting moving, you're not accomplishing things, you're, all of those things. It's easy to do when there's nothing to do, right?
Right.
And so I'm glad that that's coming together. How do you feel about that? About the Voc Rehab?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And, I think that that's exactly what you need.
Yeah, I agree. It's really good news.
And the fact that you're just now getting stir crazy is the right time for you to be doing these things.
Yeah.
Because you're ready to get out
Yeah.
and get moving again.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you could do for yourself in those times where you felt overwhelmed and just kind of shut down?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, it's kind of like we'll wrap it up, but I'm just interested in this that during this time, it seemed to me that when you would shut down, there wasn't really anything that you could do to bring yourself out of that.
Right.
Is that what it felt like?
Actually, it felt like I was antsy. Like, I was very, not jittery, but I was very, I don't want to sit here and do nothing. I don't want to be here right now.
Mm-hmm. The whole time or just recently?
Recently.
Right. Before that, when you would shut down and not do anything, were you aware that you were shut down, not doing anything? Or were you so shut down and not doing anything that you didn't realize it?
I'm not sure.
Because I would see things that would concern me. And I would get you to take action on something, and I would help you to get up and get moving.
Yeah.
And you seemed to be unaware that you had done nothing for a while.
Yeah.
And it also didn't seem to me that you were really aware of what had been happening.
Yeah. That's true.
And do you think that it's because there was nothing on the schedule, so you didn't do anything?
Well, here's the thing. It's like you said, whenever I have a schedule or something I really need to do that's planned ahead of time, I am up and at 'em, ready to do it.
Right.
But if there's nothing on the schedule, I lose track of days even.
Right.
And it's very difficult for me to do anything.
Right.
So, I mean, this week I've had a couple of things that have been planned that I needed to do. And that has helped me get things done this week.
Right.
I think that's also a contributing factor in why I felt so antsy, that I needed to get out and everything, is that I had things that were going on. And it was occurring to me that I can't just sit here.
Right.
Subconsciously, at least.
Right. So it's a good thing. It's coming at the right time because things are opening up, and maybe you pick up that energetically that around you things are picking up and moving, and the opportunities are coming back again. Do you know when the D&D is going to go? Going to open back up again?
No.
Okay. All right, but you've been doing them online.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, every Wednesday and Saturday night.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's good news for Vogue Rehab.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you looking forward to that?
I am.
Yeah. It's going to be cool. All right. So we just need to make sure, I guess, that you get up, you get going, you get out, you do things.
Yeah.
And you have stuff on your calendar.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal. Give me 5 again. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us again today. We appreciate it. And thank you again for your patience with us with these glitches that are in the website, and the internet. I don't understand them, but they've kept us from being able to post podcasts. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. Please give us a 5-star review. That helps us to be found. So we appreciate that. Send us your messages if you'd like, and in any subject matter that you'd like for us to talk about, and we'll do that. Please go to the website. It's sonyaking.com, SONYAKING.com.
Hopefully it works.
Hopefully it works. It's up right now that I know of. Yeah. It's funny. Yes, hopefully it works. And check us out. You can find the blogs that go along with this podcast and some pictures. And pretty soon you'll see our schedule, our speaking schedule up there.
Yeah.
So, and if we know where you live, if you want us to come and give a speech to, work with your organization or association, autism groups or otherwise, let us know. And we'd love to do that, schedule that, and come out and hang out.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. So anyway, thank you so much for being with us, and hope you have a safe and happy day. Love you.
Bye.